Hello YouTube, making an update on the light bars for the Ecto 1. The last video I talked about how I really just was not happy with the route that I was going with for a few reasons. One, they were too noisy, the light bulbs weren't changeable and things like that, so I opted to come up with another solution. So this is kind of what I come up with. I didn't have 8 of them, I only had 4, but I did have 4 of these old Code 3 rotators that had the regular style light sockets. So what it is, I took out the halogen bulbs and put some LED bulbs in there. And by taking the halogen bulb out, between the motor and the halogen bulb, especially on 4 of these, I was able to drop enough of the amperage down to where I can actually run both light bars with all 4 of them off this one power supply. I did test it out already. I ran them for about 3 to 4 hours. The power supply never got hot. The rotators never had any issues, so I think this is going to be the route that I'm going to go with. The only downside is, like I said, I didn't have 8 of them, so I wasn't able to put 4 in each light bar, so I had to do the whole kind of mirror deal here. Now, they're not the greatest mirrors. The reason why is it was one of the extra reflectors for one of my shop lights. I had an extra one, so I cut that down and tried to flatten out the best I can. But once it's on, it actually doesn't look too bad for what it is. Let me pop the lenses on. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's all attached to just this one power supply. As you can see, it doesn't look too bad. It's pretty bright. It does look like it has more in there than it really does. The other bonus to doing it this way is they are 12 volt now. So if after the Halloween is over with and say I wanted to do something with the car and legalize it, just for fun, maybe take it to maybe some Christmas parades or, stuff like that, I can actually hook these to the car now. So this way they can be either used off a power supply or they can be used off the car. So they're almost kind of like a dual function now. So it actually, this actually was a really much better route to go, and I'm actually much happier and pleased with it. I did try one other alternative before this one, and it just wasn't going to work out. I'll show you what that was. What it is, I picked up a few of these things right here. They're called a roadside flare. You can get them in multiple different colors. I figured blue would be best because blue going through a blue lens shines up really well. And the other thing, the reason I got these is because when you turn it on, the first setting is actually a rotating kind of look to it. And I thought this would be a great solution because not only is it quiet, 2, it takes very little power to run, and 3, it still has that rotating look that I want to stick with because the original car has a kind of a rotation look to it, and I'm trying to keep that kind of look to it. But the reason I ended up deciding not to use it, I'll kind of show why. Once I got them, I stuck the lens on them, and you look at it, you don't really see the rotation aspect of the light no more because of the lens kind of blocks some of it. So it literally just looks like just a small LED strobe light inside there. So that just didn't have the look I was going for. I just wasn't happy with it. So I opted not to use these. The other reason I opted not to use these is I was hoping that once you put the batteries in it or applied or put power to it, they would automatically come into maybe the on position into like this mode right here automatically. They do not. So my plan originally was once I linked them all together like I did the other lights, they would just come on, and then when I shut the power off, they'd shut off. That's not the case. What would end up happening is I can still link them all together, but I'd have to pull the lens off and turn each one of them on one at a time. And if I put 8 of these in there, that means I got to turn 8 of them on every night. Now, as long as I have them all linked together to one power supply and I shut the power off, they'll shut off. But if I opted not to do that and just literally just did with the battery, so I didn't have to run power, being the fact that they don't just automatically come on. These things have 9 functions, so you have to push this button 9 different times until you can shut it off all the way. So to do that to 8 of these every night, turning them on, turning them off, just didn't seem like the most logical way to do this. So I just decided that these are just not going to work. I'm not going to bother with these. So that's why I ended up going the route that I went. And like I said, I'm much more pleased with it. These light bars are pretty much done. I got the covers on them now. Aluminum color covers. Got them screwed in both sides. what I'm going to do to anchor the lenses is I drilled a hole in this little pocket right here. Now I can always put epoxy in there down the road if I ever want to use these lenses for something else and seal them up. For now I'm just going to run a little small screw in them on all four corners to hold the lenses on. So pretty much these light bars are done, ready to go on the car. Like I said, right now I'm a little on hold with the car, waiting on some parts. But once everything comes in and the car is completely done, I'll make a video of it and show it to y'all. Thanks for watching.